A great day to one and all. Welcome to the September 2023 Licensure Examination for Teachers or LET Review for Math Majors. And for today or for tonight, we will be discussing the diagnostic test, particularly another set of 20 items from 141 until 160. And I hope you are ready. So for the directions, so shade the letter of the correct answer in your answer sheet. That corresponds to your answer, of course. If the correct answer is not found among the choices, please shade E. And please be reminded that everyone is muted for us to have a better class or meeting tonight. And if ever you would like to ask some questions or clarifications, please feel free to write them in our chat. And tonight we will have some calculator techniques, particularly on items that center on or zero in on calculus. So I hope you have your things ready. Let's discuss this one. What is the limit of 4 as x approaches 5? Did you go for x? Did you go for 1, 4, 5, or 20? Please comment your answer in our GC. Okay, ano po yung sagot natin? Okay, sabi ng classmate niyo ni Sir Jason, ni Sir Orly, ni Ma'am Jeline, letter B daw 4. Let's see if that is correct. So take note, no? To do this, we can use this time as what I also mentioned. I did my best to look for an emulator. Particularly, I will be using the Casio ClassWiz right now. And this time, how do we do this? First, I would like you to encode 4. Okay? And after encoding 4, you press the equal sign, and that gives you 4, right? However, we need to evaluate this at x approaches 5. So in calculus, to do that, you press calc. And after pressing calc, so if you could see that we have here 5, right? So let's say I encoded 2 plus 3 for the meantime to produce 5. This is just arbitrary, by the way. I want to store 5. So I could click the STO here to store it. And you click this one, the close parenthesis. And in doing that, your answer will be approaching 5 here. Okay. So now, if I click AC, after that, then you write 4. If I write 4 and press the equal sign, you could see that the answer is still 4. Even though if you try another constant, say 9, and press the equal sign, you will still actually get the same constant, right? But why is it so? Because in fact, it is a theorem in calculus that the limit of a constant as x approaches any constant or any value, say a, is always the constant itself. That is why the limit of 4 as x approaches 5 is 4. So if you answered letter B, you got it right. Congratulations. Okay. So sa lahat po ng sumagot ng B, be happy because you got it. Let's have item 142. What is the limit of x squared plus 5 as x approaches negative 1? Did you go for 4, 5, 6, or 8? Okay. Okay, comment po ng sagot natin. Okay. please check po natin no, sa ibang calculators if they have the same function. Ito po yung limitation ng ating review right now because the model that I might be using here might be different from the one that you are using. Okay po? So it would be better if you explore your own calculator po. Okay, so we got C here. Now, di ba, yung mangyayari po dito dahil wala naman tayong variable sa denominator and we don't have any radical here, so we are sure that to get the limit here, we just evaluate the expression at x equals -1, di po ba? So yung gagawin po natin is, encode po muna natin yung expression sa ating calculator. Let's encode x squared plus 5. But how do we encode x squared? So kung makikita po natin, yung variable x is on top of this, no? Pero naka-red po siya. So to activate that, you click alpha. Dapat may A po dyan. Tapos, i-press po ninyo ito, lalabas po yung x. At dahil square po siya, so syempre, let's click this one to have x squared plus 5 po. And you have their x squared plus 5. So, and if you press equal sign, baka magtataka kayo, uy, bakit 30 yung lumabas? Because earlier, I used this calculator. Remember that we will be replacing x by -1, di ba? So for that po, to replace x by -1, let us press calc. If you press the calc here, at makikita niyo po dyan, no, lalabas yung parang sa ibaba. Because I used this one earlier, I actually encoded x as 5. That's why 5 times 5, that's 5 squared, plus 5 is 30. But we wanted x to be -1. So kapag ganyan po, encode lang po natin yung -1. And if you press the equal sign, you will get 6. Therefore, the limit of x squared plus 5 as x approaches -1 is 6. Indeed, letter C po yung tamang sagot. Mukhang marami yata makaka-perfect ngayon, ah. Okay. Proceed po tayo sa number 143. Let's evaluate the limit of x squared plus 10x plus 25 all over x squared minus 25 as x approaches -5. So, paki-comment po ng sagot natin. Did you go for A, B, C, or D? 0 daw, sabi ni Sir Eman. Letter A din po yung sagot ng iba sa atin. So, paano nga pa natin ito gagawin sa ating calculator? So, we have our calculator. Just like this process po, no? Encode po muna natin yung expression. Because we have a fraction, let us click the fraction here. Then we will encode this, no? So, yung x squared, so alpha. X squared, so x. Then ito po yung square button. Plus 10. X ulit. Plus 25. And for our denominator po, x squared minus 25. So encode lang po natin. That's x squared minus 25. All right. At dahil po na-encode na po natin yung ating expression, we will now click enter. Pero notice nyo po, lumabas -2/3. Tandaan po natin na yung value na in-enter natin kanina ay still being used here. So, remember, we will evaluate the expression at x equals -5, right? So, to change the value na i-evaluate natin, let's click calc again. Notice nyo po, pag-click natin ng calc, -1 po yung lumabas. Dahil kanina po, yung in-encode nating value ng x ay -1. Kung ano pong in-encode natin kanina at kapag hindi po natin na-clear, yun pa rin po ay nakastore sa info or sa memory ng ating calculator. Palitan natin po siya ng -5. So dahil naka-highlight yan, let's encode -5 and click the equal sign. Pero kung makikita po ninyo, math error. Bakit? Why? Because if you would substitute -5 sa ating numerator, that's -5 quantity squared plus 10 times -5 plus 25 is actually 0. You can verify that po with your calculator. Your denominator will be -5 quantity squared, which is 25. 25 minus 25 is 0. So you have 0 over 0. Di po ba? Yun yung masakit. Kasi this is now an indeterminate form, 0 over 0. Pero it doesn't mean na wala siyang limit. Now, meron pong ipinagbabawal na technique dito. And you could actually use factoring, pero pwede din pong gamitin yung ating calculator technique. Balik po natin dito. Let's calculate it not at exactly -5, but we can choose a number that is close to -5. Halimbawa po, -5.00001. Halimbawa. Diba? This number, remember the concept of limit as x approaches -5. Hindi po niya sinasabi na dapat -5. Yung mahalaga, we choose certain values of x that is close to -5. So kung gusto nyo po ito, no? Kung gusto nyo, pwede rin 4.99999. So kapag ganyan, halimbawa ito po yung pinili natin. And if you click equals, notice nyo po, lalabas 0. The answer is not really 0. It's just that the value that you get is very small, that it's essentially close to 0. Hence, we could say that the limit of this expression as x approaches -5 is 0. Letter A. At ito naman po yung kanyang algebraic counterpart. Pero based on the feedback last time po kasi, parang gusto nyo yung calculator technique sa lab. So I'll just leave it up to you. I did factoring here, no? And then cancel the x plus 5. And then yung natira is x plus 5 all over x minus 5. And if you substitute now -5 to all the x's, magiging 0 over -10, which is 0. So letter A po talaga. I hope na nakuha po natin yung tamang sagot. Okay, nagluloko yung wifi niya. Okay lang ma'am na magloko yung wifi mo. Wag lang yung asawa mo. Char lang, biro lang po. Next, 144. How about ito? The limit of x minus 9 all over the limit of square root of x minus 3 as x approaches 9. So gaya rin po ng ginawa natin, let's encode po muna this expression, which is x minus 9 all over square root of x minus 3. At dahil x approaches 9 po, so let's press the equal sign po muna. So you see, no, math error po siya. Let's calculate it po muna, no, at x equals 9. Kasi dito negative pa yung nakalagay. Lagyan natin 9. Pero kung ilalagay po natin si 9, again, math error po siya. Kasi nga, kung isa-substitute po natin, ito ay magiging 0 over 0 din, di po ba? And which is, again, an indeterminate form. That's why, to do this efficiently, we could substitute, let's click calc again, and let us substitute x with a number that's close to 9. Okay. Can you give me any number po that is very close to 9? Pakitype po ng halimbawa ng isang number na very close to 9. 8.9. Yes, so pwedeng 8.99999. Okay, try natin. Okay? Try po natin 8.999999999. Ano pa yan? At saka click po natin yung equals And you could see, no, ito po yung labas niya. Pero gusto po natin, di ba, this is fraction. To convert this to decimal, we could click the SD here, no? And if you click that, you see, it gives you 5.988 something. Ang tanong, saan siya pinakamalapit? Sa 0, sa 1/6, sa 6, or sa undefined? Di ba pinakamalapit siya sa 6? Therefore, it means that the limit of this expression as x approaches 9 is 6. In fact, I have here the algebra. Kapag ginawa nyo naman po ay halimbawa, yung click mo natin si calc ulit. Halimbawa, yung kanina yung pinili natin mas maliit sa 8, sa 9 I mean. How about kung palitan natin siya ng 9 point, medyo mas malaki ng konti sa 9. Let's click enter. Sorry. Let's click calc again. 9 points says 9.0001 halimbawa po. You could see 6.000 something as well, no? Which is again malapit sa 6. And since if we wanted to avoid the algebraic processes by the aid of our calculators, we could able to see that the limit is 6, considering that the answer that we get is closest to 6. Okay. Now, gusto pong magtanong ng iba, no? Paano po naging ganyan yung numerator natin? Simple lang po yung ipinagbabawal na technique dito. Tingnan po ninyo yung denominator natin, di ba? Meron siyang square root of x minus 3. Let us multiply both numerator and denominator with the conjugate of the radical. Kapag sinabi po natin conjugate, halimbawa, if you have a minus b, its conjugate is a plus b. A plus b, its conjugate is a minus b. That's why, if you have square root of x minus 3, yung conjugate nito ay square root of x plus 3. And of course, to maintain equality, whatever expression multiplied at the denominator should also be the same expression that will be multiplied to the numerator. What I did next was, I just copied the numerator. Kinopya ko lang po siya. At saka minultiply ko lang po yung ating denominator. So dahil ito ay magiging difference of, remember po, a minus b times a plus b is equal to a squared minus b squared. Square root of x, the square root of that is x. The square root of 3 is 9. That's why x minus 9. At kung ating pong makikita, both numerator and denominator have a factor of x minus 9. So dividing them gives you the limit of the square root of x plus 3 as x approaches 9. And dito po, pwede na nating palitan si x ng 9. And that's square root of 9 plus 3. So that's 3 plus 3, which is 6. Letter C. That is how we do it algebraically po. Pero again, since gusto nyo this time kasi gusto nyo parang yung shortcut na lang, that's why nag-calculator technique na lang po tayo. Hiyang-hiya naman po tayo. Char lang. Okay? So at least mas madali po siya. Okay? Pero at yan po yung process natin. I hope na clear po sa atin. Salamat po. Okay, how about ito? Biro lang po ito naman, di mabiro. Okay. How about this? That's why ako kasi, minsan kasi, okay naman yung may calculator techniques, pero ano yung theory? Ano yung process behind? Yun yung kasi yung mahalaga sa akin eh. Okay. How about the limit of x cubed minus 1 all over x minus 1 as x approaches 1? Okay, so letter C daw. 3, bilis ah. Parang kasing bilis ng iniwan ng x mo. Char lang, biro lang. So kung inyo pong mapapansin, no, if you will directly substitute 1, kung 1 po siya, yung numerator nyo ay magiging 1 cubed minus 1 magiging 0. Yung denominator nyo, 1 minus 1 din siya, which is 0. That's why 0 over 0, again, this is an indeterminate form. So ito po yung ginawa ko. If we do this, the long method, you could see that the numerator is actually a difference of 2 cubes. And following, no, factoring a difference of 2 cubes, the numerator, the cube root of x cubed is x, the cube root of -1 is -1. That's why you have your x minus 1. Then, from the given binomial, you square the first term, x squared, multiply the first and the second term, x times -1, that's -1x. Pero, remember, dapat baliktad yung sign sa gitna, so plus x. Then the square of -1, which is +1. So you could see, common factor po yung x minus 1 sa ating numerator at saka denominator. And dividing gives us the limit of x squared plus x plus 1 all over x. As x approaches 1, and substituting or replacing x by 1 gives us 1 squared plus 1 plus 1, which is 3. Letter C. Okay. Kung gusto po natin ng calculator, bahala kayo. Char lang. If we wanted the calculator technique, so let's encode the function again. That's x cubed minus 1 all over x minus 1. Then you click enter. Pero remember, we have to click calc and replace x with 1. Let's say a number very close to 1. Don't replace by 1 because surely 0 over 0 po ito. Let's say gusto ko po yung ito. And if I click enter, so you could see I got 3.000003 and it is closest to letter C. Okay. I hope it's okay po sa atin. 146. How about po ito? What is the limit of 3x squared minus 5x all over x squared plus 3x plus 1 as x approaches infinity? Did you go for -1/3, 0, 1/3, or 3? Kung inyo pong makikita, naku, paano to? Infinite na yung limit natin. But don't worry, there's a trick. Let's encode the function pa rin po. Let's encode the function. So that's 3 x cubed minus 5x all over x squared plus 3x plus 1. Okay. Marami sa atin ang sumagot ng D. Di wow. Okay, let's see po if you got it right. So na-encode ko na po yung function dito sa ating screen. Let's press the equal sign. Pero mga ma'am, sir, tingnan nyo po yung limit natin. Infinity. Paano po to? Wala pong infinity, wala pong forever sa calculator. Pero yung technique po is, let's click calc and substitute x with a very big number. Halimbawa po, 999, okay, halimbawa, gawin kong napakalaki. Parang pag-ibig ko, ha? Char lang. And let's say marami kang 9s na in-encode and click the equal sign. May nakikita ka bang hindi ko nakikita? Oh, math error. Bakit? Ay, squared pala to. Sorry. 3x squared pala. 3x squared minus 5x. Okay, sorry. Mali yung encode ko. Inaamin ko nagkamali ako. Okay? Inaamin ko nasaktan ko ang puso mo. So, yan po ha. So, again po, calc po natin ulit at encode yung napakaraming 9s. And if we click the equal sign, notice nyo po sabi dito, 1 times 10 raised to 25. Bakit ganito? Tama ba yung pag-encode ko? Okay. Gusto niya baka, let's say, bawasan natin yung number of 9s. Oh, yan. 3 yung lumabas. So you see po, in reality, it's not really 3. But it's just that the number that you get is very close to 3. That's why the limit of this expression as x approaches 3, infinity I mean, is 3. At saka ito po yung steps natin. Pero syempre, Para mabilis, ito na lang po. Yung calculator po natin yung ginamit natin. So at least 'di ba, kapag ayaw niyo ng mahabang process, at least mabilis sa calculator po natin. Yung mahalaga naman po is makapasa tayo, eh. And by the way, if we are dealing with trigonometric functions, it's important po as much as possible na yung ating degree, no, or yung mode natin ay nasa radian. So, kung gusto niyo pong i-convert siya, no, into radian form, so press shift po. After shift, you click the menu or the setup here. And you see the angle unit is 2, so press 2. And we wanted it to be in radians. That's why we have to click 2. And now it is in radian form. Now, encode po natin yung function na sine x over x. Sine of x over x. Now, we wanted to evaluate this as x approaches 0. Di po ba? Now, let's calc and replace that with 0. And let's click the equal sign. It will give us again math error. Bakit? Because sine 0 is 0. X here is 0. And 0 over 0 is again another indeterminate form in calculus. That's why, to make the long story short, balikan po natin yung nakaraan. Let's choose a value that's very close to 0 po. Halimbawa, 0. Let's say 0.00001. And let's click enter. And it gives you 1. That's why, sa lahat po ng sumagot ng B, mali kayo. Biro lang po. So that's why po, ang tamang sagot po natin ay letter C. Kung gusto po natin, no, actually yung ginamit ko pong rule, marami pong rule dito, no, yung sandwich theorem. Yung ginamit ko naman po dito ay ang L'Hopital rule, no? So if you have 0 over 0, take the derivative of the numerator and take the derivative of your denominator. The derivative of the numerator, the derivative of sine x is cosine x. The derivative of x is 1. And the limit, it's still x approaches 0. So this time, let's try replacing the 0. The new denominator will be 1. Huh? So that's why cosine x na lang po ito. So cosine 0 is actually 1. That's why the limit is letter C, 1 po. Salamat. I hope na nakuha po natin. That's why calculators are also very helpful, and I'm thankful na na-download ko na yung emulator niya. Because this one is worthy of emulation. Let's go to item number 148. Yan, derivative naman po tayo. Find the derivative of y equals 7x squared minus 4x plus 5. I think better siguro muna kung walang calculator. Okay? So, using the power rule po, no? Diba? If we take the derivative of a polynomial, we multiply the constant here with the exponent. So 7 times 2 will be 14. At saka yung exponent po natin ay babawasan ng 1. So 2 minus 1 will be 1 here. Tama? That's why meron po tayo 14x. Yung exponent dito ay 1. And 1 times negative 4 will be negative 4. And ito ay magiging x raised to 0, which is 1. And negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. And the derivative po ng ating constant is actually 0. So wow, sa lahat po ng sumagot ng A, you got it right po. Okay, 148, A. So far, we have at least 4 people who got the item right. All right. Galing ah. 149. How about ito po? Find the slope of y equals 2x plus 3 times the quantity 4x plus 1. Did you go for A, B, C, or D?
Your time starts.
Okay, letter C daw, sabi ni Ma'am Nurse, ni Sir Orly, letter C daw. Sabi ni Sir Jason, C rin daw. Ni Sir Francisco, letter C. Okay. Marami pong way kung paano ito gawin. Pero siguro, pwede rin siyang i-calculator technique, pero matagal ng konti. Simple lang naman yung expression. Let's do it using the product rule. That is, if you will take the derivative of the product of two functions, here's a trick po. You copy the first function times the derivative of the second function plus the second function multiplied by the derivative of the first. That's why the first function here is 2x plus 3, and the second function here is 4x plus 1. So I copy the first function. The derivative of 4x plus 1 is just 4. That's why ito po yan. Plus, I copied the second function, and the derivative of the first function using the power rule earlier is 2. That's why ito po, no? And y prime, by the way, is the derivative. Distributing the 4 and 2x plus 3 gives us 8x plus 12. Multiplying 4x plus 1 and 2 gives us 8x plus 2. And combining like terms, you get y prime equals 16x plus 14, letter C. I hope na nakuha po natin. Do we have any question po or clarification so far before we proceed with the next item?
Mas meron ba na ako?
Okay, none. Thank you po. Let's go to 150. Find the slope of the line tangent to y equals x plus 3 all over 2x minus 1 at the point 1, 4. Did you go for A, B, C, or D? This one, mabilis po ito using calculator. And tandaan po natin ha, if we will get the concept of slope, it's actually related to the first derivative. Tandaan po natin yan ha. The slope of any function is actually its first derivative. So kunin po natin yung derivative niya. And if you could see, no, yung derivative symbol po is ito po yung integration. Yung sa taas nito, yung d over dx, yan po yung derivative. So to activate it, press shift. Dapat may s po yan dyan. At saka press this one. So you see it gives you d over dx, no? And now let's encode the function. X plus 3 all over 2x minus 1. So I press here the, what do you call this? The fraction bar. And for the numerator, that's 2 alpha, okay, here to have the activate the x. Sorry, x plus 3 lang pala. Sorry. X plus 3. Pero yung sa akin po kasi, if I'm using the laptop po kasi, so mas mabilis ito. I can type it directly, 2x minus 1. Pero remember po, yung kahinaan nga lang nito is, it could give you the derivative at a certain value of x. Tandaan po natin na, diba, 0.14, x lang po yung hinihingi niya dito. Because this is just in terms of x. So we will replace the x, diba 1,4 ito. Pero 1 yung x, si 4, y po yan. That's why dito sa part na to, we will put there or encode 1 because x lang po yung hinihingi nito. And after encoding such, you press the equal sign and you get -7. That is the reason po why the slope of y equals x plus 3 all over 2x minus 1 at 0.14 is -7. Letter A. In getting the derivative, I use the quotient rule po, by the way. para mabilis. But of course, mas mabilis siguro yung calculator. Okay, may sumagot ba ng A sa atin? Okay, si Sir Jason sumagot ng A. Okay, thank you po. Okay, moving on. Because kailangan nating mag-move on sa life natin. No? Okay. 151. Which of the following is the equation of the normal line to y equals x plus 2? Okay. Tandaan po natin, no? Na kapag tangent line or normal line, kailangan po nating kunin muna yung slope niya. So dahil slope po ang hinihingi, palitan lang po natin ito. We'll still get the first derivative ng function. But this time, x squared na po. So we will x squared. Pero, tingnan po ninyo, at the point negative 2, 4. Pero x lang po yung need natin dito. That's why I will encode or replace the x here with negative 2. And with such, if I replace this with negative 2, I get a slope of negative 4. However, mga ka-wonder, tandaan po natin ha? Tandaan po natin ito. A normal line, this is the slope of that tangent line. Tandaan po natin, tangent line po ito. To get the slope of a normal line, tandaan po natin that a normal line is perpendicular to your tangent line. Ibig sabihin po nito, remember po natin, no, if two lines are perpendicular, I'm talking about lines that are neither horizontal nor vertical, then their slopes should be negative reciprocal of each other. Ang tanong, ano po ang negative reciprocal ni negative 4? Ano po yung negative reciprocal ni negative 4? Negative reciprocal po, it's kapag sinabi po nating negative reciprocal, reciprocal niya pero baliktad yung sign. Okay. Yung reciprocal ni negative 4 ay negative 1/4. Pero palitan po natin yung sign. That's the reason po that the slope of your normal line, if your slope of your tangent line is negative 4 using your calculator, the slope of the normal line is 1/4. And since we have a point, no, na negative 2, 4, and we have, a point negative 2, 4 and the slope of 1/4, then remember, we can find the equation of the line using the point slope form, which is y minus y sub 1 equals m times the quantity x minus x sub 1. So negative 2 is x sub 1, 4 is y sub 1, and m is 1/4. By substitution, you will get y minus 4 equals 1/4 times the quantity x minus negative 2, but double negative is positive. So if you answered letter D, which is y minus 4 equals 1/4 times the quantity x plus 2, then you got the answer correctly. Congratulations. Pasado na po kayo. Okay, kidding aside. Ang importante po dito, yung mahalaga po, tayo po ay natututo. Okay, sige lang po. Yay! 152. A stone was dropped in the middle of a still water forming a circular ripple. If the radius of the ripple is increasing at a rate of 3 feet per second, how fast in feet per second is the area of the circle growing when the radius is 5 feet? Okay. Did you go for letter A, B, C, or D? Ano pong sagot natin sa 152? Letter A daw, sabi ni Sir Jason. Tingnan po natin kung tama yung Power Ranger. Okay, tandaan po natin sabi sa problem, the radius is growing at a rate of 3 feet per second. Dahil growing siya, palaki ng palaki, this is now the dr over dt. Positive siya dahil lumalaki. Kasi kapag shrinking, dapat negative ito. But because it's growing, the sign has to be positive. dr over dt refers to the change in the radius, the rate of change of the radius with respect to time. And yung required po kasi is how fast is the area changing? So we are looking for the rate of change for the area, which is dA over dt. Pero tandaan po natin that area and radius are linked by the formula A area equals pi r squared. Then we will have implicit differentiation. We will take the derivative of both sides with respect to time t. That's why yung derivative ni A ay dA over dt equals power rule po. Remember that pi is a constant. So by the power rule, 2 times pi is 2 pi. And the exponent of r will be reduced by 1. That's why you have 2 pi r. But the derivative of r is dr over, with respect to time, is dr over dt. That's how I was able to arrive to this equation. Knowing that dr over dt is 3, and your radius earlier is known to be 5 feet at that time, then by substitution, you will get dA over dt equals 2 pi times 5 times 3, which simplifies to 30 pi. Letter A. In other words, at time equals 5 seconds, the area has been changing by 30 pi feet per second. So far, there are 2 people who got A. Baka tama rin yung iba, nahihiya lang. Tandaan po ha, wag pong mahiyang magtanong kung may right med po nito. Wala. 153. Find y double prime if y is equal to the fourth power of the quantity 2x plus 5. Patawa-tawa lang kayo. Patawa-tawa lang kayo dyan. Okay, tama yung hinala. Sana all! Ganyan talaga minsan yung mga babae daw, no? Magaling kung maghinala, minsan tama. Okay. So here, we will be using the chain rule po, no? Biro lang po yun ha, joke lang. It so happen na totoo sa'yo. Okay. So, if you have this one po, if we will use, we will say y double prime, this means the second derivative. And to get the first derivative po muna, let's use the chain rule. Like yung 4, no? Di ba? Understood na 1 yan dito. 1 times 4 will be 4. Kopyahin po natin yung base natin na 2x plus 5. And yung exponent po ay minus 1 natin. So, 3. Okay. Pero be careful po ha. Yung base mo kasi ay 2x plus 5. So, we have to multiply it with the derivative of the x function inside. And the derivative of 2x plus 5 is 2. Derivative of 2x is 2. Derivative of 5 is 0. So 2 plus 0, that's why 2 lang. Multiplying the 4 and 2 and copying the rest gives you 8 times y prime, or the first derivative, as 8 times a quantity 2x plus 5 cube. Okay. So this is our first derivative. But remember, we are tasked of y double prime. And y double prime means, or the second derivative means, the derivative of the first derivative. So yung 8 times 2x plus 5 quantity cube, kukunin po natin yung kanyang derivative ulit. So by using the chain rule pa rin po, 3 times 8 will be 24. Tapos, kopyahin po natin yung base na 2x plus 5. Bawasan po natin ulit ng 1 yung exponent, so 2. And again, the derivative of the function inside is just 2. That's why I have here. multiplying the 24 and 2 and copying the rest gives y double prime, or the second derivative, as 48 times the quantity 2x plus 5 squared, letter D. Okay. I hope na nakuha po natin. And there are some ways po, no? We have many tutorials in YouTube po as well that could help us about certain rules, no, or shortcuts for derivatives. Salamat po. And please watch my channel for more of those. Okay, next, 154. Let's integrate 2x dx. Tama. Pag mali, move on agad. Yan, tama po yan, sir. No? Okay. So, paano po ito? Okay, letter C daw. Gusto niyo po i-calculator na lang po natin? O gusto niyo po ng manual? Okay. Manual na lang po tayo. Okay lang? Okay. Tandaan po natin ha, 1 oras lang po tayo. Okay. Sige lang po. Sige. Let's do first the manual. For the manual, kung sa differentiation, -1 po tayo, kapag nag-i-integrate po tayo using the power rule, we are adding 1 to the exponent. No? That's why I copy this and I added 1 to the exponent. It's understood here that the exponent is 1, so 1 plus 1 here. At kung ano man po yung exponent ng ating variable, yan po ay magiging denominator natin. But we have to do plus c. Di po ba? So, nagiging 2x squared all over 2 plus c po siya. And dividing each by, of course, knowing that 2 is a common factor, we have x squared plus c, letter C. Tandaan po natin that C here, take note, this is an indefinite integral dahil wala po tayong limits of integration. And that C here is an arbitrary constant. At kapag kukunin po natin yung derivative ng constant, magiging 0 na naman po yan eh. At that's why magiging of the form 2x na rin po siya. Now, honestly, mas mahaba yung calculator nito. At saka hindi siya direct kasi sa calculator eh. So ito po yung ginagawa ko sa calculator. Nagta-trial and error po ako dito. Halimbawa, 'di ba kung 2x, halimbawa, so let's say 2x. So yung ginagawa ko dito is let's calculate it. Let's say I would like to evaluate this as x equals 3. Okay? If x is 3, ang inaasahan nating sagot ay 2 times 3, which is 6, di po ba? So yung tanong po dito is, saan sa kanila ang magbibigay ng derivative na kapag sinubstitutan ng 3, kasi 3 po yung ginamit ko dito eh, mas mahaba siya. So ito po yung ginawa ko. Kukunin ko po yung derivative. So shift, tapos ito. Kukunin ko po yung derivative, halimbawa ng letter C. So x squared. At saka plus C eh. That's why it could be any constant. Halimbawa plus 7. Any constant po yan. Ano ang point kanina yung sinubstitute natin sa x? Di ba? X was 3 earlier. So ang x dyan, lagyan mo din ng 3. Kung anong x yung sinubstitute mo kanina, dapat ganun din yung gamitin mo dyan. And if you click equals, you notice 6. Dahil magkaparehos po sila ng itsura ng sagot, so sure po tayo na letter C ang tamang sagot. Kung i-try po natin yung iba, halimbawa po 2x squared. Halimbawa po, yung nilagay nyo dyan ay 2x squared plus C, or let's say C is 7. At if x is 3, dahil iba pong kapag hindi po nag-match yung sagot mo sa nakuha mong sagot kanina, ibig sabihin, mali po yun. You notice, mas mahaba pa yung calculator minsan kaysa sa actual na manual computation. That's why please choose your battles wisely. No? Okay? Kung hindi mo kayang ipaglaban, iwan mo na. Okay. Dumako po tayo sa 155. Let's integrate. Ito. Ito okay to. Kasi yung calculator natin is capable of doing integration. No? At maganda kasi, mas mabilis po siya, especially kung definite integral. Meron tayong limits of integration dito na 0, 1. So to do this, ito po yung i-click ninyo, no? Ito. Notice, labas yan agad. Encode po natin yung function dyan. But of course, please place parentheses po muna. Let's encode x squared. So alpha, tapos ito, x squared here, plus x, place parentheses. We have to go back here, no? And lagyan po natin ng limits ang integration. Click po natin, no, ang lower and upper keys to switch them. For the lower limit, 0. So let's play encode 0. Clicking this one, let's place there 1. And with that, you may now press the equal sign. Ano pong sagot ninyo? Letter A daw, sabi ni Sir Jason. At clicking equals gives us 5, 6. Indeed, letter A. Sir Jason, tama. Okay, si Ma'am Jean din, si Ma'am Nurse. Okay, thank you po. Okay, so that's how we use the calculator technique there. So yan po yung kaniyang manual computation. Now, let's integrate sin x, cosine x, dx. Dito, parang mas okay yata yung calculator technique kahit medyo matagal. Okay. First and foremost, tandaan po natin that integration is the opposite of differentiation. So, it's like asking, alin sa mga choices na ito na kapag dinifferentiate mo, makakakuha ka ng sin x, cosine x. So, halimbawa muna, no? Let's say for sin x, cosine x, let's encode po. Take note, it's good that the calculator is still in radian mode. Let's encode sin x. Ito po yung sin. Then x, close parenthesis. Tapos cosine x, close parenthesis. And click the equal sign. Okay, anong value ng x po ang gusto nyo? Anong value ng x po yung gusto natin? Let's click calc. And let's say if x is 3. No? If x is 3, so you see, I got negative 0.13970 something. Tandaan po ninyo kung anong number, ha? Ito po. Now, ang tanong, saan kaya sa kanila na kapag dinifferentiate mo at pinalitan ang x ng 3 ay makakakuha ng itong value? Okay? Don't worry po. Ang ginagamit ko po dito ay yung calculator. So to do this, no, using your calculator, gamitin po natin yung differentiation, yung derivative. Ito po. At magta-trial and error ka po kung ayaw mo talagang mag-manual. So halimbawa po, gusto ko yung letter C. Yan, 1/2. Remember that sine squared x means you square the sine x. That's why I will place here parenthesis. Sine of x. But I'm going to square sine x. And yan. Okay, so para mali yata yung configuration ko. Sine x squared. And remember, may plus c ka pa po. So lagyan natin ng any constant, say 5. Tandaan po natin, ano ngang x kanina yung ginamit ko? 3 ba yun? So palitan po natin ito ng 3. And if you will click the equal sign, you get the same value kanina. So nang in-evaluate ko yung sin x, cosine x equals at x equals 3, at kinuha ko yung derivative ng 1/2 sin squared x plus c at x equals 3, magkapareho po yung sagot nila. That's why we are sure na letter C po yung sagot dito. You could verify with the others, with the other choices, pero I'm sure iba pong values yung makukuha ninyo. Wala lang value ang x. Tama po yan. Wala pong value yan. Okay. Okay. For 157, okay, let's do this manually lang po, kung okay lang sa atin. Ano pong sagot natin sa 157? 157, B daw. Sige. For the meantime, no, para meron po tayong balance, let's do this manually. If you notice no na E here is the natural logarithm, no, na yung approximately 2.718 something, 2.71828 something, parang gano'n ata. So let 3x be equal to u. By differentiating both sides, the derivative of u is du, the derivative of 3x is 3 dx. And you notice, no, if we divide both sides by 3, you will get du over 3, which is equal to dx. And with this, by substitution, ito ay magiging integration of e raised to, yung 3x ay nagiging u by based on our substitution. And the dx is equal to du over 3. That's why ito po. And du over 3 means you could factor out the 1/3. Kasi it's understood na 1/3 ito eh. 1/3 du. But it's one of the theorems of integration that if you have a constant as one of the products of the factors, you could actually factor, or I mean, put that constant in front of the integration symbol. So it's 1/3 the integration of e raised to u du, which when integrated, yung kinagandahan kasi sa e raised to u, yung derivative niya at saka yung kanyang integration magkaparehas. So it's e raised to u plus c, but u is 3x, no? So by substituting back, you get 1/3 e raised to 3x plus c, letter B. Wow. So far, may nakakuha po. Okay. 158. Let's evaluate the integration of 3 over 3x plus 5 dx. You could use also the same technique earlier, like you could substitute x by any real number as long as it will be defined here. At saka, pwede ka rin pong mag-trial and error dito at check mo kung saan sa kanila ang may derivative na kapag sinubstitutan mo ng x na ginamit mo dito at nagkatugma yung sagot nila, so yun yung sagot. Pero for the meantime, let's do this manually po. Because may idea na kayo ng calculator. To do this manually, I let u be equal to 3x plus 5, no? Yung denominator natin. And if you will take the derivative of both sides, the derivative of u is du, and the derivative of 3x is 3 dx. The derivative of 5, since 5 is a constant, its derivative is 0. Okay? And if you could notice po, no, by substitution, di ba yung numerator natin, its dx is also understood to be at the numerator. 3 dx is du, based here, and the 3x plus 5 is u. That's why we have the integration of du over u. And using the rule for integration, if you have the form du over u, its integration is of the form ln of the absolute value of u plus c. You could check your table of integrals or for the derivation. But since u is equal to 3x plus 5, we will replace it by its actual value. That gives us the ln of the quantity 3x plus 5, absolute value of 3x plus 5 plus c. So letter C nga po yung ating tamang sagot. 159. I hope na nakuha po natin, no? You can verify that with your calculator techniques if you wish po. 159. What is the integration of secant squared x dx? Did you go for tan x plus c? Secant x plus c. Secant cube x all over 3 plus c. Or the cotangent x plus c? Okay, letter A daw. According to Sir Jason, Sir Orly, Ma'am Nurse, Sir Francisco. Okay. Now, let's make this quick. Remember, since the derivative of tangent x is secant squared x dx, since the derivative of tangent x is secant squared dx, remember that integration and differentiation are opposite processes. So kung ang derivative ng tangent x ay secant squared x, it follows na kapag in-integrate mo yung secant squared x dx, ay dapat babalik siya sa tangent x. Pero you should have your plus c because it is an indefinite integral. Letter A po. C here could be any constant because anyway, if you take the derivative of a constant, it will just be 0. Gaya niya pagmamahal niya sa'yo. Okay. Marami pong techniques. Let us be, yes po, Sir Eman, tama po yan. Marami pong techniques, no, sa pagpili ng substitution. And you have to be familiar with those techniques like, will you do trigonometric substitution? Will you do ln by e? Do you think substitution by parts? Marami po kasi yan. And our time now, no, is not enough for that. It's okay po, no? Mapanakit po talaga. Mapanakit ka naman, Sir Kim. Sige lang po, Ma'am Mary. Kung hindi minsan kasi, no, hindi tayo, parang wala yatang taong nagmamahal ng hindi nasasak. So, ganyan po talaga. Sige lang po, mapanakit po talaga tayo minsan. Letter A po. Sanay na ako masaktan, yes. Sige lang po, padayon lang po. And for 160, who is credited for the invention of calculus? Did you go for Leibniz, Newton, both Leibniz and Newton, or neither Leibniz nor Newton? Yes, I agree with that. Okay. What's your answer po? Letter C daw, both Leibniz and Newton. And if you did, you should be proud of yourself because you are actually correct. They discovered independently calculus now, and they did not have direct contact with each other, I believe, during that time, but they independently discovered calculus. Leibniz was the first one to publish his work because Newton was quite busy with other things. So letter C. I hope you got the discussion well, despite the rush. So thank you very much and a great day to one and all.